Good. Did I win?
Yeah, we're good. I was just playing the intro. Alright guys, this is the SplatCast podcast, specifically for Splatoon, where we're talking about usually whatever's going on in the week, whether it's like new content, or new like community stuff, or really just whatever we feel like, or if we just want to make fun of Shucks. We do that too.
do that a lot, actually.
This week, we're gonna touch on I think it's 3 new weapons we have, and the 2 new maps we've gotten in the past like week and a half. I know we had the Kelp Dome before last week, but we didn't do a SplatCast then. So yeah, we'll hit all those. Then go into single player, and then Amiibo discussion. Me and Shucks started on this earlier, and I thought it'd be a good thing to start. All right, cool. And dude's hosting us. Awesome. All right, so with me, the usual Shucks and DAK, and Pika joining us for the first time on the podcast.
What's up?
So I guess. Oh, you want to say something?
No, I was gonna say I'm the best MLG Pro Splatoon player ever in the history of Splatoon.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
420 Blaze it.
2012. So
2012, man. The game was out then?
yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. I didn't know. I wasn't part of the scene then.
Dude, like get with the times. So you said we were gonna begin with weapon discussion.
Yeah, we have the 3 new weapons. The first one I've got up is the L3 nozzle nose. That's the one that's not automatic. The one gun in the game.
The one I was using earlier.
Yeah, the one
stream.
gun in the game
fire
besides the
one.
blaster. I mean, besides a charger that you have to like release the trigger and press it down to start shooting again. Any of you guys can take it away to start.
I guess I'll start mainly because I was just playing with it. And basically sharing some of my thoughts on stream. Anyway, basically, the nozzle nose, it is mostly a weapon that you need to use the range on this thing. Otherwise, it's not going to be very good. Because if you miss like one shot, they're going to heavily punish you for it. So anyone with fully auto at point blank range is just going to make you miserable, or at close range, more like it. It's really great for picking off people who are weak. It only kills in, I think it's a maximum of 4 shots. So basically, 3 shots from the first burst, and then your second burst on the first shot should kill. So it does have a pretty decent rate of fire, or actually decent time to kill. My words are messed up a little bit right now. But anyway, the weapon shoots surprisingly fast, so it's kind of like the ink brush in the fact that you're hammering out the trigger constantly a whole lot. It's not very great for inking, so if they catch you in a corner and you're surrounded by their ink, then sayonara, because you're not going to really get out of that situation due to the fact that you have a disruptor and a killer whale at your disposal. So just use the range on this thing, and you should have good times with it. Overall, it's a decent weapon. It has more range than the splatter shot, but I believe its range is not as long as a splatter shot pro, so it's kind of in between. So use that range advantage you have to your advantage.
Use the advantage to your advantage. Very well put.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So
My
I'm
words
a
are awesome today.
I'm a Splattershot Junior player. I like to have a high fire rate whenever I play. Would it be easy for me to pick up, considering how the Splattershot Junior doesn't have that high of a range?
I don't think so.
I'd
I
say
think
no.
Nobody's going to be able to pick it up easily. It's very different than any other weapon in the game.
You need practice.
Yeah, I'd say like it'd be like if you kind of just take halfway between like the Splattershot Junior and the Splattershot Pro, and then make it like, hey guys, look, there's never been a gun where you have to let go of the trigger besides a charger, so we're gonna try it like right now. I think like I wasn't having a lot of fun with it. You have to be, like DAK said, you have to be extremely accurate with it. Like you can't mess up like at all, because if you miss one, like you're just dead if someone's close, especially if it's a high fire rate weapon, and then you're gonna get outranged by other things. And like you said, low like ink output. Like I was playing this in Turf War, and even when we'd win, like I wouldn't have more than 900 points, like even on really good games. Like it's not a weapon to use during, or like in Turf War. I don't know, I haven't tried it in Splat Zones. I don't really want to. I think the Splattershot Pro just accomplishes what it does, but better. Like, I don't know. I feel like the Splattershot Pro is just a better weapon than this. And then also Killer Whale, like, sucks. I still hate it. Like, it might be good when it comes to, like, we can actually talk with our teammates, but, like, till then. And Disruptor's good, I just don't use it enough.
Well, so I am currently using it, and probably pissing off a lot of teammates because I'm not really paying attention to the game because I'm doing this. And I think it has the potential to be really good, but I personally am terrible with it. I like the Disruptor. This is probably the best weapon that the Disruptor comes on. So that's good. It's fun to use. Killer Whale is alright. It's pretty good in Splat Zones, I've found. But it's nothing to write home about.
Dude, two things I want to highlight from chat. One person said the nozzle nose is like diarrhea. I agree completely. And then dude came in and said he went 20-3 with it in Turf War. I'm not,
I mean,
like,
of course, dude's gonna go 20-3 with it.
yeah,
Dude.
but also the fact that
Who cleared chat?
by better Twitch TV.
Oh crap! Did I do that? I was trying to pop it out to have it.
Don't worry, we're figuring this out in the middle of the podcast. But, like, the kills, especially in Turf War, like, yes, they matter to an extent. Like, I think we've all had this discussion with someone at some point.
Yeah.
But, like, I want to know, like, what his points were for that game. Because, like, I don't know how really high, like, even just, like, firing the entire time, like, I wasn't getting a high score. And I wasn't dying a lot. Like, the game, like, 7-2, like, I wasn't over 900. And I'm not saying because I'm doing bad with it, the weapon's bad. I just don't see a lot of potential at the moment. Maybe dude will put up some montage of where he goes, like, 40-0 in, like, 30 seconds. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if dude did something like that and was like, guys, the gun's not bad. And then he does it with every gun in the game and tells people it's balanced. That would happen.
Now, like I was saying, I think in the right hands, this could be a monster. I think it could be really good. And something I didn't say earlier, I really appreciate how accurate it is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of weapons have a really high spread, but this one doesn't, and I like that. It doesn't help for inking turf, but in terms of killing people, it's good.
I agree.
Yeah. Like, Turf War, you're gonna struggle to get over 1,000 points with this weapon. I almost did it on stream. I got like 950 something points, I believe, or something
Almost
like
doesn't
that.
count, man.
Shut up. Anyway, it's not great in Turf War. It might have a bit more use in Splat Zone and being able to pick off targets that your teammates can't reach or something like that. But, like, okay, this weapon is definitely not the worst. I can say that much.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're worse choices.
It's no Rapid Blaster.
It's yeah.
What
Dude.
would you say though is the worst weapon?
Don't shit on the
Rapid
Rapid Blaster.
Blaster.
It
It's
is.
Without a
fun
doubt,
to use.
it's the Rapid
It's
Blaster.
so fun to use the Rapid Blaster, but it makes me sad that its time to kill is just horrendous with it.
It's by far the worst weapon in the game.
What
Like,
is
it's
the
only
sub
weapon
and special
I
with
can
that?
objectively say is bad.
Does anyone know what the sub and special is on that weapon?
On the Rapid Blaster?
I could look it up
There's two
real
of them.
quick.
Let me look it up. I'm in the weapons menu right now.
Well, while you guys do that, next weapon, the new E-Leader. Now, I'm gonna preface this. I'm like level 17, so I haven't gotten the regular one, so I can't have this one yet. So I have no information to talk about this weapon.
So-
I'm hearing,
so real
though,
quick-
the E-Leader is the best charger in the game, though.
Wait, the 3K?
I will dispute that in a second.
Yeah.
But first of all, Rapid Blaster, the normal Rapid Blaster comes with Ink Mine and Bubbler, which is great, except the Rapid Blaster sucks. And the Rapid Blaster Deco comes with Suction Bomb and Suction Bomb Rush, which is not great. So, it's not bad, but it's no Bubbler. Yeah, and E-Leader. I use chargers constantly, so I think... So the custom E-Leader is outclassed by the normal E-Leader. That's my opinion. While the custom E-Leader has the Kraken, and the Kraken is really good, you're probably not going to get very many special charges in the course of one game. You might get only one, maybe two. So it's not really worth it, because the normal E-Leader comes with burst bombs, which are really helpful for if somebody rushes you down you have a short range option.
And it has an instant kill, right?
Burst bombs, it takes, I think, 3 to kill.
Burst bombs is 2 to kill normally.
But
if you hit him.
I think he's talking about like the gun itself.
Yeah, the gun itself is an instant
kill.
kill.
Oh yeah, it's a charger. It's an instant kill. They're all instant kills. It's got really great range, obviously. The E-liter is the longest range weapon in the game, and it's got ridiculous range. Like, absolutely ridiculous. But the charge time is very long. You have to play very campy.
Yeah, it has absolutely no mobility. That's what I don't like. Sorry to cut you off.
No, fuck you, DAK.
Yeah.
Jerks.
Anyway, Pika, you were going?
I was gonna let you continue.
Well, no, yeah, all I was going to say was that it has absolutely no mobility, and when it comes to a game like this, you always want to be running around. So playing with a campy playstyle is...
I don't know, on Splat Zones.
Oh, well, Splat Zones
it works.
is different.
Yeah. Especially on the new map. The range is very effective. So, it's not bad. But I use the Squiffer a lot, so it's very hard for me to get used to using the E-liter.
DAK.
Yeah, like, honestly, I love the E-liter, but, because it's just like, you don't need a full charge to kill with this. I'm definitely know for sure
you can kill with like 60%, yeah.
Yeah, and then
test it.
I've heard occasionally you could do it with a 50% charge, but that's just a rumor I've been hearing. But the biggest problem,
say like 60%.
But yeah, the biggest problem with the E-liter, at least the custom one, is the fact that you have very little options to fight someone at when they close the distance on you, unless you have your special up. And having your special up can be rather situational at times, especially if you've been dying a lot. You're not going to be having it up, so you definitely have to be. This is a weapon that you need your teammates to kind of realize that, hey, he's using the custom E-liter. We kind of need to do our best to make sure the enemies don't have the chance to get close to him and whatnot. The good news is that it has beacons to place around the map, and since it's going to usually use more unique slash harder to reach locations than normal, they could just place the beacons up there and whatnot, allowing their teammates to jump to safer locations rather than an actual teammate themselves. But unfortunately, no one online likes to use beacons a whole lot, so it's like, oh, guys, guess what? I placed the beacon down. It's like, no one's using it. Instead, they jump on the guy who's in deep shit, and he just dies.
I don't know, I feel like I don't jump to beacons a lot, just because usually there's a teammate that's in a better position, and like, I think some people fall into the trap that they jump to someone who's like, in like deep shit, and he's gonna die, and they're gonna jump to him, and he's gonna die, but I'd rather jump to a teammate who's just a little bit further, like, say we're on Urchin Underpass, and someone's got it up kind of like in the sniping spot, like from your side kind of going into the middle, and then I also have a teammate that's starting to push into like their side. I'm going to jump to my teammate if it looks like he's fine, then instead of going to the beacon, just because I don't want to waste the time swimming over there.
That's true. That also depends. Like, most times you want to jump to beacons is when like there's honestly no good options, or if you see that a teammate is in a fight and your other teammates are just too far away from the point and the beacon's the more ideal place to jump to, because you don't know if that teammate's going to live through that fight. Although you'd love to assume that they will win. Like, it's online, so I don't really trust teammates to last in that regard. So I'd always choose the safer option rather than like an option where they have potential. But if they're perfectly fine, and as in like nothing's going around, definitely jump to them, because it's just a much better position too. The beacon is just kind of there to act as a backup plan in case situations like that do arise. But
I just want a quick question before we get too sidetracked. So we were talking about the E-liter. I wanted to ask you a quick question since I haven't actually played with it. What would be the best weapon to use against it? Because to counter the whole large charge time, I guess you could use something like an ink brush to go up against it. What would you say with your probably not?
What weapon do you fear the most, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna fear either another E-liter, so that you can stay at range and just pop out and kill them. Or something that will rush you down, like a King Rush or an Arrow Spray. Something that can get in and kill you quick. Really, you just need to make sure you're watching all your flanks, so nobody will surprise you. If nobody surprises you and you have a good position, you're set.
Ah, okay.
I would say probably one of my biggest fears as an E-leader is getting counter-sniped, which is why honestly, because that's, in my opinion, your biggest threat. And of course, you always have to be watching yourself, making sure that no one is secretly closing in that distance with you. So constantly checking back at your map and whatnot is also key to make sure that no one's trying to do a flanking maneuver on you. And if you do recognize they are doing a flanking maneuver, just get out of the way. Unless you have amazing aim, you're usually not going to get out of a close range encounter if you're using this set, unless you have your special out. And if you do have your special out, then you can kind of hold your ground. And if your opponent tries shooting you at point blank range, well, guess what? They just lost because you have your special and they didn't. One thing to be careful about when using the Kraken on this set is don't get too aggressive with it, because if you run out of the Kraken and you're in the middle of enemy territory, you're going to die. You can't get out of the situation fast. Get out of that situation fast enough, and you're just too far up ahead.
Yeah, so. I think people are going to look at this weapon and say, "Oh, look, it has the Kraken," and immediately think that because it has the Kraken, which is a very good special, that it's going to be better than the normal E-leader. But really, Kraken doesn't really help out the E-leader that much.
Honestly, this whole set is just based around defensive play. It's based around it's more of a support role for your team.
Yeah.
And
I still think the normal E-leader has a better is outclassing this one, but this one does have its uses. I think it is going to still be very useful.
I think something to note is, and I'm just thinking about this, I haven't played with it like I mentioned earlier. What if you should just be saving your Kraken until you get ambushed, and that's when you use it? Never go out with it. Then you cover your option of losing to weapons that are going to kill you in close combat. It's just a thought, because I agreed at the start with Shucks that this custom doesn't really have anything up on the other one, but it does cover its biggest weakness. Oh, Shucks turned into Corey. That's cool.
My bad.
Corey in the boards. Never forget.
Corey into stream.
Oh God.
But
yeah, definitely you're going to be using the Kraken as defense, not using it aggressively, because like I said before, if you push up too aggressive with this,
you can't get out.
You can't get out. So it's basically used as a last resort kind of deal. If someone does manage to sneak up on you and you didn't notice, it's there to basically get you out of that situation and then potentially have you safely relocate to somewhere else or just stand your ground there.
I think Shucks just died. Oh no, he's back. Okay, we're good.
Am I not here?
No, you're here now.
Shucks, you're ruining everything.
All right, we can. I think we've talked enough about the new E-leader. We can go to the last weapon, the last new weapon we got, which is the Splash-O-Matic. I played this for 2 or 3 games. It just feels bad compared to any of the other short-range high fire weapons. I forgot what was in the set if Shucks or DAK.
Basically, it's Suction Bomb and Suction Bomb Rush
yeah.
for the Splash-O-Matic.
Bomb Rush, yeah.
But,
yeah, so it doesn't have the range. If it had more range, it'd be good.
Its range is so bad.
It has the range of an Arrow Spray currently.
And it doesn't seem to have the fire rate, and it's just I'd rather have the higher fire rate with less damage.
But this is
what do you look at its time to kill?
Its time to kill is equivalent to that of the Splattershot Junior in the fact it's 4 shots to kill. However, it barely makes that 4-shot mark, so if anyone's running a defense up perk, it turns this weapon into a 5-shot kill, which means you really need that damage perk to counter this.
The fire rate isn't very good, so it takes, I'm just eyeballing it, maybe...
Wait, for the Splash-O-Matic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the fire is pretty high.
Basically,
well, compared to other high fire rate items.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
What makes
it's got the same range as an Arrow Spray, but a much less fire rate.
Yeah, but even then, the aerospray still has like a terrible
and
time
the
to
Splatter
kill.
Shot Junior has the same range as Splatter Shot Junior too.
What makes the Splashomatic better than the Splatter Shot Junior and the aerospray is the fact it has that accuracy. That accuracy
That's
is
true.
key, so you can land all 4 of your shots just like that on someone. So yeah, you do have less fire rate, but since you're able to land all 4 shots and it still has a good fire rate too, so you're able to land those 4 shots nice and easy. So this weapon is just like a version of the aerospray that can actually kill. It's kind of like a mix between the Splatter Shot Junior and the fact that stats are similar to that, but it has the range of the aerospray, so it's basically it's easier to compare.
Well, the Splatter Shot
to
Junior
aerospray.
has the same range as well.
Oh, it does? Okay, so yeah, this is just basically a more accurate version of the Splatter Shot Junior then, but without
I don't know.
all that weapon spread.
I think it's, if you wanted anything it does done better by another weapon, I think. And I haven't had too much time to play with it, so I could totally be wrong.
Dak, do you think it's good?
I do think it's pretty good. It's definitely not the best weapon you can bring in, but if you're using a close range weapon and you really want to go in for like more or less a more aggressive approach to getting kills and whatnot, then you'll definitely use this. However, its biggest competition right now is the Splatter Shot Junior, which of course has the bubble ability.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, does its ability, like, knock it off the viability list? Because, like, suction bombs, like, I enjoy suction bombs, like, a ton, and a bomb rush for suction bombs is cool, but it's nothing compared to a bubble.
Yeah, I will say this gun has made me appreciate suction bombs a little more than I had before.
Like, what's amazing about this gun, though, is the fact that it can build up that super really quickly. So, you can get suction bomb rushes quite frequently with this weapon, which can allow you to push the splat zone a lot easier, or basically cover a large amount of turf. And just seeing a suction bomb rush coming your way is the most terrifying thing ever, sometimes, depending on where you are. But the fact is, you can keep on getting your suction bomb rush rather frequently with this weapon, and not only that, if someone does come in close, the only weapon you really need to worry about at that point is a 52-gallon weapon just coming out face-hugging you and killing you, because they're always going to be able to kill you a lot quicker at close range than your weapon can. But if it's any other close-range weapon, you're going to have an edge in the fact that you can kill pretty darn quick with this weapon, and it's pretty reliable too, because you don't have to worry about any of your shots missing, except for due to your own aim. So unless your aim is off, you're going to kill way more consistently with this weapon. This is just a weapon designed to fill in that short-range niche, but actually be able to do some damage to other people with. Because the aerospray's biggest weakness right now is the fact that you really need to ambush your opponent in order to kill consistently with that weapon. If not, any other weapon in the game can outkill you, except for the rapid.
Outkill you, because we're gonna kill them better than you did.
Well,
because there's different scales of killing.
Faster.
he died of death.
It's like the Splashomatic kills them with like mini explosions. So
it shoots like nukes.
Yep, it shoots. Everyone loves explosions. Way more stylish. That's why it can kill you better.
All right, I think we got all we need to say on that one, and we're gonna jump to the 2 maps to discuss those. Kelp Dome and Depot. We'll start with Kelp Dome. Pika, if you wanna start out on this one.
So when I played Kelp Dome, I actually played it, as most of us probably did, first time single player, and I think most of us thought that it was a pretty good weapon, viable of being an online map. So from that point on, I immediately started thinking of it tactically. So I started moving around, thinking where it is that I could use my weapon in a better way than on other maps. And considering how I play with a Splatter Shot Junior, a high fire rate on that map doesn't really do much for me. I think on that map, this is just my opinion, I don't know too much about the meta as much as you guys probably do. So when it comes to me playing, I'd probably rather play on Kelp Dome with a roller than with anything else, simply because it has such a big squared off area rather than others being different shapes and sizes. So I'd play more with a roller than anything else, simply because I can cover more turf. I don't play too much Splat Zones, so if any of you want to talk about it in Splat Zones, then feel free. But that's what I have to say regarding Turf War and what weapon I'd rather use on it. In terms of playing on it tactically, I've only played like 2 or 3 matches on it, 4 at best, I think, on stream yesterday. So through that, I think I can say that roller is pretty good and charger isn't the best, unless you're camping up high, obviously, because that's one of the best tactics to use with a charger. Do you guys have anything else to add to that?
I'm gonna take a subsection of that and I'll let someone else go on their own tirade. Talking about the Splash-O-Matic, if its range is good enough to hit people up top, it might be a really good weapon choice with the map selection, because can you hit people up top with an arrow spray? Because I don't think you can.
Yeah, there's plenty of, yeah, you can.
Okay. You have to be like right under them. And with the ink they're dropping from whatever weapon they're shooting, it's pretty tough. The Splash-O-Matic might help cover that a little bit. And I haven't played too much of this map, and I haven't played any Splat Zones, let me preface that. But I agree with PikaBoy, I love playing a roller on this map. Like, I'm not playing rollers a lot in Turf Wars, just because I enjoy, like, shooters a lot more, but the rollers seem to do fairly well, especially, just like the regular, like the crack-on roller, coming around corners and just flicking people with it, I think is pretty good. But Shucks or DAK, you guys can go on your own tirade.
I appreciate this map. I like what it does. I think it's cool. It's probably not my favorite map to play on. It just doesn't really fit with my style. But I appreciate what it's trying to do. But I don't really have too much.
What do you mean trying to do?
Like, I don't like this.
I appreciate like what it.
I'm like asking specifically, what is it trying to do that it doesn't do well enough?
I think it's trying to be salt spray rain.
I like it's that like most of the maps we've seen so far are just like, you know, one team on one end, one on the other, and it's just like a rectangle in the middle. I appreciate that this is like a circular map. It just doesn't really flow with my play style that much. Same thing, dude, whatever.
Squares and circles are definitely different things. I don't know if you didn't take geometry.
I didn't take geology.
Alright, I think that's the wrong course, and apparently you just failed school overall. But anyway, DAK, you can...
I didn't take psychology.
Rein us back in.
Okay, so basically, Kelp Dome. It's an okay Turf War map. I don't really, like, honestly, I haven't played on this map too frequently with Turf War. Like, most of my experience comes in Splat Zones for this map. And it's both a really fun Splat Zone map, but also a really frustrating one.
Is it a 1 or 2 zone?
It is a 1 zone map. Basically, you know the area where all the greater areas lead to that center platform there? That's basically where the zone is. It surrounds that area. The zone is actually it's a pretty decent size. But the thing that's interesting about this zone is you need to splat the top of that platform in order to be able to cap the zone. Because if you cap all the ground points, you still won't have enough ink to fully take over the zone. And so it makes ink strikes very, very powerful on this map, mainly because if your teammate is shooting alongside the ink strike, it's an instant cap. Like, it's honestly, I very rarely see an ink strike on this map just straight up just neutralize it.
So, in terms of ranked, the dynamic created, so the zone is, like you said, in the middle, and there's the walls all around it, so it creates this very intense battle right at the zone, whereas other maps tend to, you know, branch out from it a little bit. Mm-hmm. This one really draws you straight in, and you can't really escape, so it's really interesting.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I was kind of reserved about this map. Like, I wasn't excited. Like, the grades just didn't excite me at all. I thought it was going to be terrible, just because I hate the regular walking speed a ton. And and I didn't know how the mechanic would work out. But I'm glad to say I'm surprised at how it turned out, and I'm happy that we have this map because it does add something really unique with how much we have like grades, and it, like you said, not being really a linear map with 2 teams on one end, straight path to each other, have fun in this middle zone. And there are a lot of times I find this is the only map it happens with where I am like thinking my team is so far ahead and we will lose by like 30 to 40%.
Oh, yeah.
Like we'll dominate an area and then I check the map at the end and they have literally everything else. Since like you're pretty walled off wherever you are besides the middle zone, you can't really see how the map's going. Whereas like Salt Spray Rig, if you're up top, you see everything. Like really any map, if you're in the middle, you can see usually what's going on. I think it's just funny.
Yeah, like definitely on this, if you're playing Turf Wars on this map, you really need to pay attention to the map on your gamepad in order to like be able to get a good feel of what's going on in the map, because as you said, like everything, there's so many walls on this map that you can't really get a good visual indicator just by looking on your screen by how well you're doing, because your current area might be completely surrounded in your ink, but the rest of the map could just be a completely different story. And not only that, the grates also make a very interesting like
dynamic.
Dynamic between like, do I want to go up to the grate and risk my escape options up there? And not only that, like the interesting part about grates is that you can be killed anywhere on it and you have less mobility up there, but you also have the high ground, which gives you a slight edge. So you can kill people below you, they can kill you from below, and it's interesting. Knowing that, it gives you a straight off path to that center platform, which can sometimes be key, but I just find going through the bottom area and then just shooting my way up to the center platform is far more effective.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that regardless of how much enemy territory is inked, like as long as you can get to like your ramp to get on the grates, you have a straight shot to the middle, and like you won't be slowed down by enemy ink. Like yes, like they can be in the ink, and like you really shouldn't just be ignoring all that ink and walking to the center. Maybe if you're in splat zones, but it's the first map that like you're still able to traverse really well even if you're not well inked. I think we covered most of that, and we can new map we got, it came last night, right?
Yeah.
Bluefin Depot.
Yep, Depot. And I've played all the stuff we've been talking about just today for like 2 hours. I'm loving this map already. It's so fun. Like there's so much to do wherever you are, and when you're ahead, you never feel like really secure unless you've like pushed up to the top zone of the enemy's base, just because like they can fall down, and if you're anywhere in that second level, like you guys, if you're watching the stream, you'll see the picture I have. It's like the first drop down level, but not the bottom. If you're anywhere in there on like the enemy side, you have to be paying attention to up top because they can drop down on you so fast. And I'm really enjoying longer range weapons, even though like the Splattershot Pro is like my gun to go to in like any game mode, any map. I really like it on this just because I can keep myself pretty far spaced from like their like jump down at any portion, so they can't just jump down immediately get me if they're using like an Aerospray or the Splash-O-Matic or something, which I've been seeing people run. I'm enjoying it. I think the map's really cool. It's unique, and I don't know how long it's gonna be till like we start getting maps and it's like, alright, this is just another rig or just another warehouse. And I don't know how good Nintendo will be about that, because they have problems with repetitivity, or whatever the word I'm looking for is, with the Amiibo challenges. It's so repetitive. Oh my god. But I like this map, and I'm happy that we have it. Anyone, the floor is open.
I haven't had a chance to play on it. I'm currently playing on it right now on Salt Spray. This is just gonna take a second. I'm trying to get into a match. I've played like 3 already.
He's playing right now.
I'm playing right now, trying to...
Yeah, because he hasn't played any of this. Remember, we had this conversation before it started. He's got to get it in.
I need to try to get as much through my head as possible. Right, so,
all right.
You can talk about it as much as you want. I just wanted to say that.
Okay, DAK, you're up then.
Okay, so basically, Bluefin Depot, you may recognize this from a lot of missions in the single-player campaign. And it's a very interesting map in the fact that there's a lot of verticality to it, and then it goes flat, and then it goes back up, and then it goes flat. And honestly, it's kind of hard to describe this map unless you like know what it looks like. It's just really interesting. There's a lot of narrow corridors that leads to like big wide areas, and then it just goes back to more narrow corridors. What's very interesting though is in Splat Zones, it's actually a fairly close range map, but there is an interesting dynamic in the fact that the Splat Zone is surrounded by a lot of like both sides has like a raised up platform that leads them to the Splat Zone, and so you have that interesting dynamic where you can have snipers just perched up like out of harm's way most of the game, and just watching over the Splat Zone, and then you have people on the ground who are on the Splat Zone itself, and because there's really not a whole lot of room around surrounding the Splat Zone to maneuver, and so a lot of times some people might find themselves dying directly on the Splat Zone a lot more frequently than they rather would like to on this map.
Is this a 1-zone or 2-zone map?
It is a 1-zone map. The zone's actually pretty big, so like if both teams get there around the same time, which they most likely should or will, like it's good. You're gonna have like this brief neutral period, and where you're just trying to like you're just shooting each other's ink on their side of the zone, and waiting till like either someone dies and then you can take advantage of that, or just make a play that allows you to neutralize most of the zone, and thus turning in your favor. What's also very interesting about the map is that you can actually go around to their raised platform area and basically flank and destroy any snipers who are giving you trouble. I remember an E-leader is actually pretty decent on this map. That E-leader was giving me a lot of trouble, and then I just kept on dying to him, and I was just like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to engage it when he's not expecting it. So I basically flank him, and then I killed him, and then that basically turned the match around in our favor, because they're about to win. But as soon as I killed that sniper, I was able to kill anyone else who were on the zone, and then take it for my team, and then my team was able to capitalize on that. And for some reason, like, that sniper wasn't much of a problem the rest of the match. He wasn't landing all of his shots consistently, so I guess that little kill I did on him shook him up mentally. So, like, it's an interesting
the mind games.
Map.
You gotta get them psychologically in Splatoon, man.
I got them psychologically.
Look, just
really
go and kill their family
time.
in real life, and they'll be so phased that they can't play the last minute, and you'll win. It's simple tactics. Come on. Something I forgot to mention was that when you're going up to the top part by their spawn, you have to go through like a decent part of like walking over grates. So like you can't cover the ground fast and like be sneaking with like the whatever the ability Ninja Squid. You can't like be closing in with that ability. And I think that's like a really nice touch, because it's like, all right, if you're gonna make the push up here, you have to take the risk of being seen and like not really having a defense, because you can't really jump back because you're not moving fast enough. If you go squid, you're gonna fall through the ground, which I have not done yet in multiplayer. I've done it in single player a lot. But yeah, overall, I'm loving this map. I hope that it stays in the queue for a while, as like since it's a new map and they want to keep it in rotation. I need to play more while I stop playing Smash.
Just play on SplatCast, dude. Just like do what I'm doing.
Yeah. I'll just turn to my TV right here and start playing, so it's like a profile of me, and I'm not even paying attention.
Like, but, honestly, I could totally play on SplatCast, but you'd be seeing the back of my head.
Yeah, I imagine all of us, like, if we had TVs in different scenarios, like, our webcams are looking at us, but we're all looking away. Like,
literally, I have Splatoon.
Hey, don't worry, guys. I'm totally engaged in what's going on. It's okay.
And
what's going on? What?
It gets quiet for a minute, and no one notices.
As for the new map, I really like it in ranked. I think it might be my favorite ranked map right now.
Same.
People forget that the other side exists. So you know, like one side has the zone on it, and the other
side
has some ramps going.
Side? What blasphemy is this?
The other one has ramps going toward the zone, which are really good places to stick a charger on. And chargers are very strong on this map. Also, it's just like just like Urchin Underpass, it has an overhanging thing that you can put sprinklers on, which is pretty nice.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, what's interesting about this map is that it's actually pretty wide, and due to all that verticality and all those narrow platforms, like it can be kind of difficult controlling both sides of the map in a turf war match. So you kind of have to like rely on your teammates to like kind of split up and be able to control both sides if you want to win consistently in turf wars.
Yeah, I don't think that really covers it. That's just the discussion we had for the new stuff. That'll always happen whenever we get new content. And now we're going to talk about the meat of what is supposed to be going on in this podcast is single player and Amiibo content. And like Amiibo discussion about like how we feel about like content being locked away behind it, but is it actually content that is a problem being locked away? But we'll get to that. First, we can just talk about like our impressions of single player, and I'll start because I've speed ran. I don't know.
You runded it.
Yeah, runded it. There you go.
He runded it. Yep.
I've been through it a few times, and the first time through it, oh my god, I love the campaign. It's a really good introduction into the game. I think most people like jumping into the game should go play single player. It teaches you some things, just like you just get better at aiming. The way I started like getting better with the Inkzuka was playing single player. Like my first speed run through it after I completed it made me so much better with the Inkzuka. When I went into multiplayer, I started like not missing any shots with enemies. Especially because there's levels where you're shooting at Octarians who are moving around just like squids in multiplayer. I think the levels are really well designed. It's not really repetitive. I had some trouble like finding the entrances to levels at points, but I think that's just like my idiocy. Not really a problem. It just took some time. Like it was bad. That was like,
it's okay, guys. It's because I'm dumb.
Yeah, it was the 24-hour stream, and I'd been playing like I was so tired. But anyway, I really like it. I think like I said, the level design is fantastic. Like there are a lot of unique levels that like I feel like hasn't really been done, and obviously some stuff that you open up to because of like the properties of the game, like the level where there's like lots of the platforms are invisible and you have to ink them, which we'll get into the discussion of the Amiibo challenge because DAK was so bad at it today.
Excuse me,
dude. Look, I was like,
I don't care.
I was two or three levels ahead of you, like doing the squid challenges while you were doing yours. I beat that level first try. I had no problem. It took you like 20 minutes.
Now, to be fair, co-op, you've speedrun that level like a million times. You know it.
I've been
well,
I've been over that level like 4 times.
He's probably how many times have you played that level?
I have speedrun the game twice, and only one finished.
I've only played through all the campaign levels once.
Okay, that's just because you suck.
Just by playing the campaign just once?
you don't play it more than once for the replayability?
No, just play the campaign and the Amiibo challenges, and then that's it.
But anyway, like I think like boss design was really good too. All of them felt like pretty unique, and like I didn't realize in the shark challenge, the shark boss, that you didn't have to shoot out all the teeth, which is what I was doing. I don't know why. Like there's no indication that you need to. In the final boss, I loved it. It was so fun playing through it the entire time. It didn't feel repetitive. But oh my god, playing it again, like I love the music, but it's so repetitive. The entire campaign.
It's really.
Like.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys go on just like your initial like feelings with the campaign before I go into replayability and Amiibo challenges. Anyway.
Okay, so
never mind.
No, DAK's taking it. DAK's taking it this time.
Okay. So campaign, really easy to beat. Like it should, like if it's your first try, it should take you maybe 5 hours tops to finish it.
1 hour
or less than that. Well, excuse me, I don't speedrun all my crap, so I don't care if you can do it in 1 hour.
What? It doesn't take you 6 minutes to beat the first Mario?
Yeah, you don't glitch through like World 4. Come on.
No, I don't glitch through World 4. Okay. Anyway, if you're normal like me, it should take you about 5 hours to complete on your first try. And if you're playing through whatchamacallit, if you're trying to look for all of the hidden scrolls, then it should take you about 7 hours on your first try. And that's for the average player. Not for like co-op here, so
who's decent at the game, where
For us,
DAK
we're
is
actually good.
average. His parents tell him he's special.
I don't know.
actually my parents are rather proud of me, so
They're proud of your Splatoon time for campaign, I bet, man.
nah.
Anyway, Shucks.
Wait, I'm not done yet.
Nope, too bad. Sorry, not proud enough.
Just let him finish. If
Anyway,
he has more to say.
campaign's just really easy. It kind of bored me to death because I was never challenged throughout the whole campaign except for, say, the final boss. And the final boss basically makes up for everything. Oh my god, it was amazing.
Agree completely.
I enjoyed it so much, but it's just like everything else was like kind of like, It's
Dude, the
okay.
final boss is fantastic. It's the best boss design I've seen in any game. Like,
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know, I
It's a
can't-
very good boss.
I can't think of a final boss that I enjoyed more than that.
You know what game had way better bosses?
No one cares. This is the Splatoon podcast.
Zelda's game.
I was about to say Shadow of the Colossus because that game was built around boss battles, but okay.
Yeah, that game was literally boss battles. The game. That's it.
Basically, every Zelda game has a great final boss.
Look, Shucks. Like I said, Splatoon podcast.
The water temple itself was a boss.
No, this is this is Zelda.
We're not getting into a discussion about the fucking
So
water
what are your
temple.
thoughts on the CDI games, guys?
Yeah,
oh,
how
man,
did
Splatoon on a CDI, favorite game ever.
how did you guys feel about Nintendo's
Dude,
E3?
Splatoon
On
64.
CDI.
Star Fox
Single
Zero,
player.
the podcast. Anyway, single player, Shucks or Pika?
Yeah, I'll go. I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. My biggest problem with it was I had a really hard time finding some of the levels in the overworld.
Yes, I'm not
like,
alone.
I knew where they should be, but I couldn't get to them, or especially like the last world got really annoying on that front. It was hard to find them. So that was kind of annoying. Overall, I thought it was great, but perhaps. So I would love for maybe after August, thinking of other content to put in, I would love for a single player expansion. I think that would be great. But overall, I thought it was really fun.
Pika, you got anything?
So my first impression of the campaign was I need to get every single Octo Ball thing. I need to get all the sunken scrolls. I need to 100% this game, like 100% obviously. So that was my initial reaction. So once I started playing the game, I was like, getting everything and looking for it on my own is a good challenge. It's not too hard. It's not devastatingly hard, because I can like draw a lot of parallels to Banjo-Kazooie in a sense. Because when you make a game hard, you give the player the means to do something, and you just make it difficult on purpose. With Splatoon, they make certain things challenging, where you have to figure out how to do certain things, and you have to figure out how to get past certain situations. So Splatoon has a good mix of both. Every game should, if it plans on being a good game. Splatoon has a good mix of both in the single player, and it adds to that with the Amiibo challenges. So I don't know if that's going to be a separate topic.
Yeah,
or if we
that's
should talk
the
about that
next.
now.
I was gonna talk about kind of like replayability.
Yeah.
Before that, but which would lead into that.
Yeah.
But like I think you hit the nail on the head. Like the level design and like how they make like the levels challenging is really well done, because it's not some artificial difficulty where it's like, all right, just hit the enemies more. Like all the enemy New Game Plus. Like the enemies are really unique in how they behave with the ink. Oh, Corey and the boards. Everything's like off now, but yeah. Like I love all the enemies. They're really fun to play against. Like dealing with each enemy. Besides the fucking little like balls that bump around, and you have to like put your ink down in front of them. Besides those, but I guess we can hop into the Amiibos, because like they're really like single player. Like I've speed ran it twice. Like I'm probably gonna speedrun it some more, but I'm not enjoying like the run, even though it's an hour-long run, and like I've currently run a game that takes 2 to 2.5 hours on my own channel. Like it just feels like gruelingly long, and like I went into it with like, yes, I'm gonna get all the octo balls and all the sea scrolls, which the scrolls really aren't that bad. None of them, like there were a few that really like tricked me up, but most of them it's just like check around a corner or look under the platform you're standing on and there's another platform to get to. But like they do it really well for a Nintendo game. Like the collectibles a lot better than like Zelda games, collecting the gold like spiders, all of those. But yeah, then like I gave up on trying to collect all the octoballs. One bad design I think is I think they're trying to like fill the level up by having those balloons that contain the balls or whatever. But sometimes the balloons, and a majority of the time, they contain one octoball. Like I shoot it and I'm like, one? Really? Like when I'm like just going.
Not enough balls, man. Not enough balls.
It's like I want to upgrade everything, but it's like I don't want to shoot it and like take time to go over to where the balloon is, and not just get through the level. And it's like one thing. Like I don't know. I feel like that could have been a little bit better. The upgrade system is fine. Like I don't know. I feel like a lot of I would need to restart and see how the fire rate is at the start and really how much your ink capacity is. Because I didn't ever have any trouble with feeling like I didn't have enough ink or the blaster didn't fire fast enough. Like, the upgrades aren't even really necessary, in my opinion. Like, they're kind of just like, this'll help you do it easier.
Pretty much, like... Okay, as for, like, if you want to realize what the original fire rate on the Splattershot is at the beginning of the campaign, you can just play any of the Amiibo challenges, because your upgrades do not carry over in there.
Really?
Yeah, they do not.
I didn't know that. I thought I still had all my upgrades.
No,
So, and there's a huge difference between a fully maxed out Splattershot in campaign and like just
The base.
the standard
It
one.
feels
But
really weird.
it's amazing. I really wish that was an actual weapon in the multiplayer, but then again, it would be broken as hell. But basically, what I did for the campaign upgrade-wise was I just went straight to ink capacity up and then upgraded my Splattershot. And that's all I really needed. Like, honestly, I didn't even need to upgrade the Splattershot. You don't need upgrades to finish the campaign. It's just that easy to beat. It's just the fact that it just makes it faster to beat, and or give people who may not be so great at shooters like a chance to actually be able to complete the campaign.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people like don't really pick up shooters, and then they picked up Splatoon because it looked fun, it looked great, and they're enjoying it. And so, like, those upgrades are kind of there in case you get stuck, more like it. So it's just like, oh, my stuff isn't great, so, like, it's like, I'm having a difficult time, let me upgrade my stuff, that way it's easier for me to play through these levels and whatnot. Also, what I really like about the upgrades, though, is the Seeker. Every time you upgrade it, it slowly transforms into a speedboat.
Nice aesthetic touch.
Such a nice touch.
But, yeah, alright, I guess we can hop into, Amiibo stuff. Where is the Amiibo picture? Alright, there we go. Alright, so, for those of you who don't know, you can get 3 different Amiibos. Well, really 2 if you're in North America, because they don't sell you the squid separately. Everyone's pulling their Amiibos now. And I'll grab this one, not sold separately.
I can grab mine real quick.
I have them on screen. I don't know why I even felt the need to show mine. And I knew that. They each provide 15 you replay 15 levels of single player, and they're different from the original single player. Either you're with the girl amiibo, you're using the roller.
No, the boy's roller.
Roller for the boy amiibo, the girl amiibo using the charger, or the squid amiibo where your challenge is either you have when you go into squid form you have Kraken, so you're just invincible, or which is also time trial, or you have a limited amount of ink. Hey, look, he's out of the kitchen. But and you also replay every boss fight with whatever weapon they correspond with, or Kraken, and you unlock a set of gear on each amiibo, a mini game to play during loading screens or just in the main hub of the game, and a reskinned weapon. So it's not the only content that actually changes things is the mini games, because you only have to be like level 10 to start getting 2-star gear, if that's correct. Is that right?
It's level 10, I believe so. It's either that or 15.
But
Actually, no, 15's too high. It's probably 10, yeah.
You also get, if you complete the single player by itself, which I assume you... Do you have to do that before you do Amiibo challenges, I assume?
Yes,
no.
you need to...
Yeah, you have to beat the single player.
So, you would already have 2-star gear at that point, so it doesn't provide you anything that other people can't have, besides, like I said, besides the minigame. And, like, the main reason we're talking about this one is because, like, it's a big topic right now about, like, what's hidden, and two, it's also, like, it is, like, a lot of, like, content that other people don't get to have, where it's, like, it kind of doesn't matter, but also, like, all the missions, like, replaying them with different weapons is somewhat, like, substantial content, so it's, like, kind of two sides of the coin to look at. But, like, I've kind of enjoyed, like, I played the Squid Amiibo challenges today. I'm not done with the Charger ones, but I'm done with the Roller. And, like, I'm, like, just because the Squid one gives you invulnerability, like, half the levels, or more than half, like, it's fun to, or, it's fun for, like, the first 3 levels, and then it's just like, alright, now I'm just gonna go cracking and I'm invincible, let's just get through the fucking level. Like, the gimmick kind of wore off on me really fast. I don't know about you guys, but, and the other ones, I'm, like I said, the campaign's not really that fun to go again in, especially with, a Roller and a Charger, considering the, like, shooters, I think, is the best weapon to go. Well, obviously, the campaign's kind of built around going with that weapon, because there are times when some of the weapons kind of make things, like, really easy, or, like, I know, DAK, you'll know this, and I was talking to you about this, Shucks. The levels in the later worlds where it's the enemies that do, like, a circle of ink, and you kind of have to navigate through, like, a maze and not get under them. I'm trying, like...
Oh, those, the...
yeah, you completely...
Cleaners, I think? Or
yeah.
There's something called like that.
Whatever they're called. The enemies where it's like, you have to go around to get a key, but usually you have to wait behind them and not get in front of them because they'll see you and chase you. It like, there were 2 levels like that, at least, that are completely broken. Like, it's literally just going to Kraken form, and you don't have to do anything. Like, other ones you need to, like, be jumping around and stuff, like, to an extent. But those, it's just like, alright, just swim past them.
I think, and knowing that, even with the Roller and Charger, you still have to do at least one of those missions with both of those weapons. And honestly, it just makes it so much easier. I think Roller's a kind of bit more tricky, but the Charger is just easy to do for those missions, because you can just shoot so far ahead of you and create a path, so you're just, like, basically on the other side, or wherever you need to go pretty quickly.
And the Charger is kind of broken in the Amiibo challenges. You don't actually need to charge it. Some enemies will just die in one hit, even if you just tap it. Another one, like, the most a common enemy will take is 2 taps of the button. So the only use actually charging it up has is
if you want the range.
If you want range, yeah.
But, like, that goes into the fact that a lot of these missions were basically made with the splatter shot in mind, and it obviously can tell. Like, basically what I see these missions as doing is the fact that their whole intention was kind of like to break the game and give you something new, and then give you also something fun in the process. So, like, it was pretty fun to play some missions that were kind of, like, more annoying than the other missions.
Yeah, pain in the ass that you could just plow through and be like, fuck you guys.
And then you just plow through it with, like the sniper missions. Like, you can use that's in the Charger missions. And it was so easy to take care of the snipers, because you had that range advantage that they had all of a sudden. So it was like, boom, you're dead. So, like, it like makes a lot of missions just super easy, or some missions actually kind of challenge you a little bit. But for the most part, going through all the Amiibo challenges, the only thing that was a pain in my butt for the Amiibo challenges was the Squid Amiibo challenge with the limited ink one on the invisible platform levels. Shut up.
He was fucking terrible. It was amazing. And he streamed it all.
It was so good. He's like,
it's like
you can just jump. Like, I'm pretty, like, what I'm gonna do is I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go and find an app to download Twitch streams and edit all of your fails together from that, because it was so funny. Just because there are times where you just stood there and like, because there's one point where it's easy if you just like shoot and I'll say like that level, it's really easy when you know where the platforms are supposed to be. Like, I'll say, from knowing speedrunning, I knew like where I need to go and what jumps I can make in squid form. Like, because I know there are some where it's like, I don't know if I can make it in squid form, and you don't want to jump and miss, because then you restart. And my problem with it is it doesn't restore your ink to where it was when you hit that checkpoint. I think that's really dumb that it doesn't do that.
Well, that's the whole point of the challenge.
Well, no, but you like
It doesn't? I thought it did.
No, you
No.
like.
That explains why it was so dumb.
I get what you're saying, DAK, but I also feel like it kind of helps you out, because there are times when you get through a big portion without a checkpoint and you die before a checkpoint, and now you can't complete the game because you used all your ink. But like, what I was saying is there are times like, there's one section where like, if you just shoot ink forward, like you can hop 2 times and you're to where you need to go, and it spawns one of the little floating enemies that just shoots like circle at you. And like, it was shooting at you, and I know in speedrunning, if you sit there and take it, it will push you off. And it's just like, because it shoots it so slow, I'm like, DAK, just move, just please move, move. And it just slightly just push you off, and I'm like, God damn it.
Hey, I eventually got through that level through plenty of trial and error, which is
Let's focus on the word error.
Shut up.
However, I will say I am proud of you at the end, because where you like, you kind of, as you go higher up that like staircase of like invisible blocks, more enemies spawn, and you don't have to kill the enemies. And what happens is when you get to the next one, if you didn't kill the enemies, it just forces a spawn. So like, like for speed running, really, it's a concern. But with this one, it made it so if you just like kind of go up one side, you only really need to kill the enemy that spawns on top of you, and you're fine. But you had enough ink to plow through all the enemies, and I was thinking, like, if you run out of ink and don't have enough to pop the bubble at the end, I was gonna laugh so hard. I was hoping it was gonna happen.
That was my biggest concern about that whole part, because I was running really low ink at that point. But anyway, between that mission and between the final,
when you were playing, I found it hilarious that, like, at some parts when you needed to be
dash on me today?
Yeah, dude,
so
we were.
Parts when you needed to be conservative with your ink, you were just like spraying it all over the place. And then when it was like totally fine for you to spray a little bit, like when you were on the invisible walkways, you were trying to use your reticle to see where the thing was, and it's totally fine just to spray down one single ink drop to see where it is.
Eventually, I caught on to that, man, because that was unreliable, as I clearly fell off. But anyway, back to my original point. Between that mission and between the mission with the roller final boss,
I hated that.
So much trouble. I fucking hated it, and I was so close. I streamed that boss fight too. Oh my god, it got so bad to the point where I was just completely dead silent, just trying to focus, just to beat him. Oh my god. Never before has Splatoon pissed me off that much.
And I'm gonna say one last thing that, wait, what was it that I found really funny? Fuck. It was something about that you were messing up on that invisible ink level.
That's the only time I really messed up.
I loved how you were like so confident, like, I can just follow the crosshair and it'll walk me to where I need to go.
Clever. I was just like, okay, this is probably how you're supposed to get through this level. I thought that was kind of clever.
It's just something I'll point out on those ink things though is it's like deceptive when you're running out of ink, because like when you hit the bottom of the tank on the left, it means you have a full tank left, like that's on the back of your squid. And like, I was constantly worried, like I didn't realize it till like the second ink saver, or the limited ink level, because I finally got that low. Like once you get to that last tank, like you'll go in ink and it doesn't start to refill. And it's just like I get to the end every time thinking I'm not gonna have enough ink, and I did have like a lot more than I needed to.
So basically it goes on the two tanks on the, or whatever tanks you have on screen, and then the tanks on your back. Yeah. So that's how it works?
Or, well, just when, like, you see the tanks that are on the left side, not the one that's on the back of your squid, when that one's, like, at, like, the bottom, like, it looks like it's about to run out, like you're gonna start hitting the point where it's like your full tank is all that you have left. Like I wish there was some kind of like marker to tell you like, all right, this is your last tank, like no more refilling. But like it was a cool thing to note. But like also I hated the roller, like because so many of the levels with like, because we all know playing lots of multiplayer, rollers on ramps, they don't go well. Like you have to splash a few times sometimes to get over like a hump. And there are a couple of those in multiplayer, and it just annoyed me just because it's like the one thing that like I really have a problem with in multiplayer is like that interaction not working, because it just like fucks stuff up, and it annoyed me a lot in single player. But like I said, yeah, I think it's all really repetitive. I didn't get a lot of fun out of the roller, the start of the charger missions, and like even like, yeah, the Kraken just going around having unlimited ink and invincibility is like cool, but the gimmick wore off really fast. And it might just be me having no trouble with the single player, or not much trouble with the single player, to like the invincibility ones don't like give me a lot of satisfaction. However, I did love the limited ink challenges. Those were really fun. They made me think a lot. I want to know like from a kid's perspective, like how tough it is just on like the average kid going to play the game, because like I feel really bad for them, because like I was finishing the levels with like maybe the full tank on my back left of ink, so it's like I really didn't have much left regardless of like how well I did on a level. And like for kids, I don't know how hard that is, and it might just be because like that's something that was actually difficult for me at times, like, or I had to really think about, whereas all the other challenges just like just grind through it, you'll get through it eventually no matter like how well you play it. But something to talk about though is that content being locked behind, like you having to buy a $13 amiibo, or in like the case of if we're in North America and you want to buy the squid amiibo, it's going to cost you like $25 on Amazon if you didn't get the triple pack.
Well, in the US that is, the triple pack is the only way to get the squid amiibo unless you decide to import it like I did.
Yeah, I got mine from like somewhere in like Japan, I think.
Yes.
I somehow managed to grab the triple pack in like the afternoon it was released. Somehow they hadn't bought all of them, so I picked up a.
Yeah, I was asleep when it went on sale on Amazon.
I wasn't even planning on getting any amiibo, and I was just at the store and I was like, okay, well I have to buy this.
I wanted to stay up and get it because like they had the time range when it was gonna go online, like a 30-minute period. But that was like after I had been up for 36 hours after the 24-hour stream, and I did like 12 hours in the first like 16. I was like, I'll pay the extra like $10. I need to go to sleep right now. But like the conversation I'm trying to segue into is like, how do you guys feel about the content being locked away in amiibos? And we can talk broader Nintendo amiibos after this, but I'm meaning specifically, God, I didn't take English class. In Splatoon, like what each amiibo
I've got some thoughts on it.
Alright, Shucks.
You were talking about this earlier. So, you know, it's common, I'll see, like on a Reddit thread often, people will be like, I really think that Nintendo is really being scummy with this, and they're locking away way too much content behind a physical, scarce DLC. And on one hand, I agree. I think, the scarcity is bullcrap. I think they should offer, like, an amiibo costs $13. They should offer a digital version for, like, $3, where you don't actually get anything physical. You don't get the cool little trophy thing, but you still can get the content. So I think that would be cool. But I also think people are overestimating how much content is locked away behind amiibos. Because if you haven't actually used them and you just look at what they give you, it seems like a lot. It's what, like 20 single player levels played with a different weapon, and 3 pieces of clothing, and a game, and a weapon for each one.
Weapon reskin.
Weapon reskin. And that seems like a lot, but it really isn't. It feels very tedious to actually go through and unlock the stuff. The freaking clothes don't look good, except maybe the schoolgirl stuff that looks kind of cool. And it just. The game is cool. I do think everybody should be able to get the game and not have it locked behind amiibo. That's kind of bullshit. But I think people are overestimating the quality and stuff that's locked behind amiibos. That said, it shouldn't be locked behind amiibos. If Nintendo is going to have a production problem or a supply version, whatever it is that's causing so much scarcity, they can't have content locked behind it.
Now, one of the questions though that I wanted to ask is would you rather have that content be put away digitally, and you just be able to, get it through paid DLC, paying say $10 to $15, or would you rather have a physical little NFC toy that you can have sitting at your desk that you can also that serves the exact same purpose but with with also physical appeal to it?
I agree. I like physical appeal, but for people who either don't care for it, and that's a totally valid thing, that I like collecting things but not everybody does, or for people who can't find one because they're basically sold out, there should be another option to be able to get the content.
Also, something I want to note is like $13 for like one of these things, like for some people, like that's like a decent amount of money. Like we have to remember that like everyone isn't like in a situation where they can throw like $13. Like there are people with the new like Smash Bros DLC and it's like $5
Costs like $25.
Yeah, like if you want to get all the characters, it's gonna cost you like $20-$25 or something. Like if they offered the digital at like $2 to $3, where it's like the main cost of these things is the fact that like you're getting a physical like trophy in a sense, like if they just did that, it would fix all my complaints. Like I would have no problem with Amiibo because like it's all like on disc DLC, and DLC like to an extent, what we want to call it, extra content. I don't know. I feel like I've had a problem with Amiibos from the start, or like I've been very cautious just because the way they work with Smash Bros, it doesn't matter because it's like me and Shucks were talking about earlier. It's basically like a level 9 computer that like learns tactics and gets stat boost, and then you can give it equipment too.
I have 4 Smash Brothers Amiibos. I've used them all together for a total of maybe half an hour. It's not interesting. It's not fun.
Yeah, like I bought them, like, and I'm not gonna buy any more unless like I find a Captain Falcon one, which I probably never will, because of supply. And like none of the games I've seen besides one like off note, Codename Steam. I haven't played it, but I've heard that the Fire Emblem Amiibos apparently lock away a decent amount of like missions or content or something.
It's playable characters. So,
but even then you can
apparently I don't have the game, but apparently when you scan the Amiibo, you can use that character in the game, and I've heard that that's a fairly significant advantage, but I'm not sure. I don't have the game.
Oh, what were you saying, Pika?
The thing with that also is that you can only use the Amiibo on the new 3DS, so that in itself adds an extra $100 that you have to pay. Someone's knocking on my door. I'll go get that in just a second. That you have to pay just to be able to use it. Just to be able to get the new 3DS, you have to drop an extra $100 to get a new 3DS if you already have a 3DS or a 3DS XL.
Yeah. So
I believe they said they were gonna make a peripheral for the normal.
But still, you have to spend the money on
that. Come out with it yet so far, I don't think
they've given an actual release date. Let me go get that real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, like that's another thing you have to toss money towards to be able to use Amiibo, because like we need to, considering like Splatoon and stuff, mostly what you're using Amiibo for, it's Wii U games, but there are going to be 3DS games with Smash. Hyrule Warriors I think can use like current Legend of Zelda Amiibos, and that's coming to the 3DS at some point.
I like how like Mario Kart and Yoshi's Woolly World and stuff do it, and I guess Mario Maker maybe, where it's just a cosmetic thing. You look like the character that you scanned in. I think that's kind of cool.
I really wish you could put it on something else besides a Mii in Mario Kart, because I don't want to race with a Mii.
Yeah.
Like, why would I race with a Mii when I can use anyone else? Like, it'd be cool if they like gave the costumes for Smash, but that's not the way costumes work in Smash. So you can't really make that argument. But like, it's just recently, everyone's been flaring up like, oh my gosh, Nintendo's locking away content, and no one's getting upset about it, but everyone gets upset about it with every other company. And I think it's a really specific case of like this content that's locked away, and when you actually own it, it's not really stuff that's locked away. Like, the only problem with Splatoon Amiibos is the mini games, and it's also like mini games are only something you're using when like you're in between lobbies.
And they get very old very quickly because they don't save your progress, and you have to start over from the beginning. So I don't even play them anymore. They're not fun anymore.
Yeah, and I've gotten used to.
People should have the opportunity to play them.
Yeah.
Probably the only substantial minigame right now is the Squid Amiibo minigame, which is the rhythm game.
I have yet to play
And
it.
the rhythm game also doubles as a sound test, so you can just randomly play whatever track you have played through in the game and just play it through your TV speakers, which is actually a pretty big deal,
That's
mainly
awesome.
because there is no other sound test naturally available in Splatoon, which is what I'm kind of surprised at.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Of course, it's locked behind the most rarity.
Yeah, that's why I got the Squid Amiibo, just because I was like, all right, the gear looks the coolest, and it's the Amiibo I like the most. But I don't know. I think people are complaining about a problem that's really non-existent. I think the argument to take is, why isn't the content available in some way that's online purchasable, that everyone can get to, that there's not a supply problem because you can't run out of online downloads, and also the fact of maybe pricing, since there is no online and this costs $13 for very minuscule DLC, when we could discuss pricing for Smash Bros. Characters, but say the new Call of Duty 3 maps, a new weapon, a new zombies map is $15. This is really not adding anything to your game besides a mini game, and it's challenges that you're gonna do once. I don't think I'm ever gonna go back and redo these challenges, considering the money
is definitely for the figure.
Yeah, it's just
Basically, the whole reason why they don't sell the digital content separately from the Amiibo is because at that point the Amiibo are just
they're useless.
Pretty crappy figures. The Splatoon Amiibos are actually really good, but if you look at the Smash Bros,
They're so bad.
They're not exactly the best looking things out there.
The only ones that
And
look
if-
good are the simple ones like Kirby.
And if you're using them to, Kirby, Pikachu, they look amazing, but the other, more humanoid ones can be a bit more problem, say Shulk or Marth. But anyway, if you just sell the digital content, then you're not going to be pushing on sales for Amiibo, because at that point they're just pretty crappy statues that hold honestly very little value for most people. The only reason why people are buying a lot of these is probably more than likely due to that extra content that they can unlock through multiple Nintendo games. Assuming that multiple Nintendo games can support.
For people watching the stream, this is what the Mars face looks like on some Amiibos. I'm putting up the really derpy one. This is what Mars looks like. It is garbage.
It's an embarrassment.
There are some my 3 Smash Amiibos are
Makes me feel better for not getting one.
Shulk Amiibo is just as bad.
I actually only have 2 Smash Amiibos and then the Mario one. Kirby and even Fox. Fox is pretty detailed for
Whereas
for,
the Splatoon Amiibos are really well made. They have a lot of detail. I think they're much
they're
higher.
definitely.
Look at it.
I think the Splatoon quality is fantastic. I think that's how all Amiibos Marth.
Shucks.
Yeah, if they were all this caliber, I'd have I would probably be buying a few more. But since the faces on some of them really derp out, and then once again the problem of stock, because when a new wave releases and I go to my GameStop, they might have 1 of or 3 or 4 of the Amiibo, so I better go camp out 4 hours before they open with these Amiibos, and then I've heard stories people will go 4 to 6 hours before it opens and no one's there, but you have to go because someone might be there 6 hours before, or people might not get there till an hour before it opens. If you want it, you have to take the risk, and that's.
So DAK brought up how he was afraid that if they did the digital content, then there would be no incentive, or there wouldn't be enough people buying the physical things. So I'd like to offer a rebuttal there, where there's not really that much stock anyway, and I feel there's enough people who would get it just for it being a
That's true. I was thinking.
I'm on Shucks side. I'm on Shucks
There's not a whole lot of stock, but the whole problem is you gotta look at it from Nintendo's perspective. It's just
True.
what's stopping people from, if we do this, then this is going to stop a whole bunch of people from buying our Amiibos.
But then still,
and
I assume
But yeah, like due to the limited stock, it probably won't be that big of a deal. Mainly because like people who actually want the amiibos, they can actually get them, and who knows, they can actually be in more of a better stock in most places. But from a business perspective, like it, even though it's kind of a dick move, to be honest, it's just like these figures are rather cheap compared to like say other figures that you get from like some other company, which are like highly detailed, highly expensive too, but whatever. Anyway, but the whole point is just like we attach content to these to give people who normally won't be like super duper interested in the like actual figure itself, and kind of like give them interest to buy these figures and whatnot. That's the whole point. It's just to give you a little extra bang for your buck.
Yeah, I'm with DAK with what he's saying, because if Nintendo is like, alright, tomorrow we're going to put all this on the eShop, what is the incentive to buy an amiibo? It's to, like, because you're a collector, or you just really like that specific character, like concerning a Smash amiibo, or you particularly like how the Splatoon amiibo looks. Like, if there was digital content, I would not be buying the boy or the girl, I would be buying the squid if it was available by itself. Thank you, Nintendo. Like, I wouldn't have probably any of the amiibo, because Smash amiibo then, like, I think Smash amiibo really would still be bought because you're buying the Smash amiibo for, like, the figurine of that character. Like, Kirby was one of my favorites, and when I saw it, I was like, I have to buy it, and Fox is also one of, like, my top 3 played characters, so I really enjoy it. But, like, Splatoon amiibo, like, I don't think people would be buying it that much. Like, it's, I really think they would never sell all of their Inkling boys, because one of the biggest complaints I've heard is people don't like the boys' design and they love the girls' design. I think the girl would probably sell out. They wouldn't sell any of the boys. Like, I can agree to an extent. I don't dislike his outfit like most people do, but like I wouldn't pick it up, and I don't think a lot of people would.
Like the problem with the Inkling boy though is the fact that the hairstyle is not. It's really
not fun.
It's a Japanese culture thing with that hairstyle. Like, this game is very Japanese, whether a lot of people want to admit that or not. It's very heavily influenced on Japanese culture, and that hairstyle that the Inkling boy uses is a hairstyle that's like currently popular in amongst the youth of Japan. Like, you'll see that a lot out there apparently. And it's more or less, that hairstyle is more or less a Japanese thing, so it doesn't surprise me that that doesn't like
relate to lots of people on the English forums.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't like it. I don't care for it much myself, the male Inkling designs, but it's just like it's more or less that's mostly due to the culture gap between between Europe and America and whatnot.
Yeah, something else to add is the fact that like we don't know like how kids are buying these, like in the fact of like how much they want these, and like they want their parents to get them. Like maybe like what we wanted, like the newest like Game Boy game would be like the newest like 3DS game and an amiibo to go with it. So like from that, that's just something to like state out, that we don't have that perspective of the kids who are also like really the consumers they might be going for. Because like I think amiibo more so cater, I don't know, like I think
it's kind of like a Happy Meal toy, sort of.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
without the meal.
The action figure itself is to collectors and kids, and the content is to like players, which can be part of those other two categories, but like for me, and I think a lot of other people too, like you don't fall into those, because like I'm not going to be collecting amiibo, though I do have a friend who he plays a lot of Smash, and he also is trying to get all the amiibo, so he's a collector. He fits into the two categories, but it's just there's so many things that like could risk Nintendo not selling these, and like I agree with Shucks that like the stock is so limited, like you think they would end up selling it, but like looking at how all the other popular amiibo are always left at the store. Like any store I go to, like all the main ones are always there, which I guess like it's kind of like how if you go to the store, like there's always going to be Splatoon games available. Corey and the boards, thanks man. Like it might just be because everyone already has it, and like they're just keeping enough stock. Like there's going to be enough Splatoon games out there, of course. But I don't know. It's a lot to like digest to make like a really valid point of like would it sell enough or like is it worth it for them to put on digital content. And I think Nintendo's not going to do that just because it's not safe for them. Like they talked about doing the cards, and that I think that's the happy medium that we're really just gonna get, because that's still something physical that you have to go to the store and get, whereas like people still like they'll go to the store and they'll just be like, well, I might as well just buy the Amiibo if possible, whereas like lots of people would never make the venture out to the store but would definitely like buy it online. Like you lose profit and gain profit. It's a really weird thing to be discussing.
Not on that, like you also
Yeah, do
want
you
to be
guys
very
have
careful
anything else on that?
With Amiibo, like you can't make too many of them, otherwise then they just start chilling in people's stores, and then you don't make enough profit from that because you just have too many products and they're not selling fast enough. But another problem is the fact if you make too little, then you're going to end up pissing off the consumer, which is pretty much what's been happening a lot lately. And what's like, because Nintendo's handling the fact that they do realize that they do have a supply problem, but the problem is they're not fixing it or they're not handling it in a fashion. As far as we know, like they probably are making like better efforts to produce more of these things behind the scenes, but so far no one has been seeing that the results of their efforts on that front yet. And what I find really funny is the fact that they announced like on like all of their social media, and the fact that whatchamacallit, also my face is being cut off.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay, but anyway, back to my point where like on social media they were basically saying is like, hey, we're sorry that we're having these problems, we recognize these problems, and we're going to try our best to do everything. And then the next wave of Smash Bros. Amiibos comes out, and that was probably by far one of the worst waves ever to get a hold of.
Which
any
wave
of those
was that?
Amiibos. I don't remember what Amiibos were in it. I think a NES Amiibo was in that wave and whatnot, but it was a whole mess on how they handled it, and the fact that like pre-orders were very difficult to come by because you had to do it at specific times, and usually in those specific time frames the Amiibos were just all gone by the time you processed everything. Like within like the first like 5 minutes perhaps, or even less, like all the Amiibos were just gone. And it was just like, what the hell, Nintendo? I thought you were trying to fix it. But and so like basically it's just like, knowing that like even Disney Infinity, they're also saying it's like, yeah, Nintendo's like, get your shit together. Basically it's just like the way you're treating customers on this front is not fair to everyone, and I just found that funny. But then again, Nintendo's not Disney. Nintendo doesn't have the same like amount of power and money that Disney have.
Okay,
and so like Disney
actually, I don't know power-wise, but like Nintendo has enough money to be like in the negative for like 50 years without going bankrupt. Like, it's not that they're like anywhere short on money, and like I can't really like compare because I assume Disney's got a lot of money backing it up too, and it might be more than Nintendo, but like Nintendo has a lot of money to throw around.
They do have a lot of money, but the fact is, like,
they might not have manpower and like resources that.
Yeah, it's just the fact that like Disney obviously has far more resources because they don't really have like problems with their stock of their Disney Infinity products. Then again, Disney Infinity products doesn't really appeal to
as
wide of an audience as Amiibo products do, because like honestly, like I have no interest in Disney Infinity at all. But
what?
It's mostly,
dude, you're not in the meta of getting the Captain Jack Disney Infinity Amiibo and
stop.
breaking the game.
The weird thing with Amiibo is though, unlike Disney Infinity and Skylanders, Amiibo are being targeted to multiple demographics at once.
Yes. Basically, it's just the fact that like Amiibo attracts a much wider audience because you got the old school Nintendo fans who has all that nostalgia. You have the Smash Bros fans. You have fans of like particular different like Nintendo genres or whatnot. And then and honestly, like Nintendo's really popular amongst our age group and older than us, mainly because we grew up with that stuff. Nintendo was the bee's knees back in the day. And then now what the bee's knees is like Sony, Microsoft, and Call of Duty and whatnot. So Nintendo doesn't have that same appeal it had on us when we were younger. But then again, I could totally be wrong about this, because I do see some young kids playing Nintendo games and enjoying them very much on the same level that I enjoyed them when I was younger. So
the weird thing with Nintendo is, though, there's always that weird age gap where you have young children and then you have really old adults, and we're like that weird demographic that they want to cater to, but they
can't commit.
Yeah, they kind of don't want to acknowledge that we even exist. They don't want to say, hey, look, there's 15, 16-year-olds that also play Nintendo games. Because nowadays, when you have people that are 12, 13, they don't want to say that they play Super Mario. They want to say that they play Call of Duty and FIFA. Even though they find Super Mario to be fun. You can get your point in just a second. I feel like Nintendo needs to start acknowledging them, at least to an extent.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest problem is the fact that Nintendo's having a hard time getting that home console demographic, because in America, and I'm pretty sure in Europe, the home console is a much bigger market over here than, say, portable consoles such as the 3DS and whatnot. Even though 3DS is still big worldwide, and Nintendo's been dominating the portable gaming market since forever now. Like, Sony can't even tap into that same level of success that Nintendo has. But what Sony has an advantage over is the fact that it has that home console demographic, which is a much bigger demographic, more than the portable device. But the thing is, in Japan, portable devices are a lot more popular, so Nintendo focuses more on that, and they don't develop and they don't bring enough to the home console table to interest people who are more interested in gaming at home rather than gaming on the go. And that's Nintendo's biggest problem right now, is the fact they can't find a solid way to tap into that market right now. Nintendo Wii was a huge success because it was something brand spanking new.
And literally everyone had a Wii at their house.
Exactly. So basically Nintendo Wii won the last generation of games, in my opinion.
By far.
Yeah. It was the best-selling console between the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the Wii. The Wii sold the most, but the biggest problem was a whole lot of people were trying to also get on the Wii hype train, and they made a whole bunch of just like shovelware. It was just like games that is meant to target younger audiences or audiences that don't normally game a whole lot.
Wait, you're telling me you don't play Barbie on the Wii? What's wrong with you?
No, I don't play Barbie.
You don't play Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on your Wii? With the shooter? Is it in this room?
NES?
It's not in this room. God damn it, I have the fucking
with the Wii Zapper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, my point is the fact that and not only that, the Wii just kind of shuns actual gamers, and you had to really search for good games on the Wii
that weren't Nintendo party titles.
Yeah, that for the more hardcore audience, and they kind of shunned away a lot of people, so a lot of people drifted towards 360 or PlayStation 3 as a result.
And that's
of that.
what killed it. And
that's what basically killed the Wii, and then which also made the Wii U kind of hard to sell, mainly because one, that you have Wii in the Wii U.
That's such a stupid branding idea.
Which the whole point of the idea for Wii U was just basically we are focusing on you now,
we are the
gamer. But anyway,
the Wii.
And another big problem with the Wii U is that a whole lot of people didn't know what the fuck the Wii U was. They thought it was just the tablet controller right here. They thought it was this thing. It was only this thing, and they were charging $300 for this, and everyone thought that was stupid. But if you actually knew what the Wii U was, it was no, it was the actual console and the controller. But unfortunately, Nintendo didn't get this message out, so a lot of people were just confused. They had no idea what the hell the Wii U was, and so it's just why should I spend that much money on just the controller? What does this controller do more that my Wii can't do? And it's just it's not the Wii though, it's the Wii U. It didn't get that message out across.
I'm gonna jump into this because I've had a lot to say, but I wanted you to get through your full point, because I want to hit the issues of like them not hitting the like console, like the home console market and such. And also, very quick side note, dude said in the chat that PC is the best-selling console. I stand by my statement that the best setup right now is a gaming PC and a Wii U. You will cover everything that you need. You do not need the exclusives that are on 360 or Xbox One or PS4. This is the perfect gaming setup, I think, because you cover all party games on your Wii U and any serious games you can get on your PC. Now, the problem with, I think, this whole, like, how the Wii won the last, like, console race, or however contest you want to call it, I really lumped together the Wii U into last gen. Like, I don't compare it to Xbox One or PS4 because it's not in the same realm of, like, what it's meant to do. And that's why
it doesn't have the same power as those two consoles.
Very hesitant to talk about Nintendo's problem in this console race because of NX, the console that they're going to talk about next year, because I'm really, really banking on them not making a console that has really bad, like, hardware. Because if you look at the Wii U and compare it to an Xbox One or PS4, it's garbage. If you look at the graphics usually on the games put into the Wii U, which Nintendo covers up because their artistic styles are so good, and the, like, how well you, like, create, like, a style of art can cover up for how, like, bad graphics are. Because, like, Splatoon, like, it's like, the whole game is very vibrant and stuff, and, like, if you compared it, like, I guess, like pixels and such, like, to how, like maybe a resolution in a sense, but not really, like, since you can do, like, HD 1080 in both, like, the art style is what keeps them, like, in the race of being, like, it's got good enough graphics to stay in it, because if all the games looked bad, no one would buy a Wii U. So that's why I want to hold off in talking about this, like, console race, or, like, the home console market, because I'm giving Nintendo the chance here next year that they need to step up, put some real hardware into a system, and don't make the Wii U 2, or, like, Wii U and me. Like, I don't want any garbage like that.
They also need to they also need to step up their marketing, because if you look at their marketing throughout all of 2013 and 2014, they were targeting to a demographic that doesn't exist anymore. or honestly at times didn't even exist at all. Because if you take a look at the marketing for the Wii, they were marketing for family gaming and an experience that you can enjoy with those that you love. And that's cool and all, and that was a great system seller back in 2007, 2008. But if you look at the Wii U, people started to notice that that is complete and utter bullshit. And no one wanted to buy a Wii U.
Let me hurry and jump in here, because I want to talk about your last point, Pico, with this demographic that Nintendo doesn't know what to do with. And that's our, like, selves, where we're the older teenagers, young adults, because we're not this, like, older generation that's having nostalgia, which I really don't even think they're really catering to that market. Like, I guess you could say, like, Duck Hunt and Smash is, like, a throwback to all you oldies, and the Zapper. Like, my dad would come in, like, we're playing Smash, and he's like, wait, is that the dog from the Duck Hunt game? Which I find cool, because he, like, can't connect to video games in any other way, but, like, their market is kids, and that's, like, I don't think it's going to change. And while I'm in this market, this demographic that they should be targeting, because they can make so much money off of us, I think Nintendo's doing fine not doing that, because I think they have to take a risk in starting to market towards us and start marketing less towards kids. And, like, in the, like, places that we're hanging out, like Reddit, Squidboard, Smashboards, we're going to be surrounded by people, like, in our similar age group. But that really doesn't give us a whole view of, like, alright, who's really buying Nintendo products, because we can probably, like, name off all our friends who have Nintendo products who have bought Nintendo games and be like, we know lots of people who have this, like, go to a Smash tournament, all these people here around my age, like, have all this and know about it and would love to buy more Nintendo stuff. We don't know the numbers for kids and, like, parents buying it for kids. So it's like, I really want to say, like, yes, come on, aim for us, like, not in the sense of, like, make a Melee HD, but in the sense of, like, make what, like, our kind of, like, the competitive Smash community is looking for, in a sense. Like, they don't need to do that, and that's not what Nintendo has ever stood for, like, the, like, young, or old teen, young adult market, and I don't think they're gonna change. Like, I really, really want them to, but I don't think it's practical. And you had something to say before I started that tangent, DAK.
I honestly kind of forgot, but but like it's just the fact that I don't feel that Nintendo caters like Nintendo. In my opinion, like the way I hear from most people, though, is like people around my age group, people in their 20s right now, is kind of like the biggest market that Nintendo has right now. I just don't feel like,
but like I said,
Nintendo has that same appeal.
Do we know like how like much kids are buying these games? Like how are they buying Mario Party or Smash or Mario Kart? Which I'll give Nintendo this.
That's
they
the
made
problem is like I just don't know that demographic because one, I'm terrible with kids. So I'm just like, I don't know how to interact with them. It's like, it's awkward.
Do you play Smash?
Like,
Alright, let's play. Kick your ass.
Let's play Smash, guys.
I have
and
a
then
story.
I can't hold back at all, so I just destroy them at it.
And they start crying.
Then they
and then
start
you have to explain to their
say
parents.
you're cheating and all that stuff. And I'm terrible at holding back in games. Like, okay, I'll hold back, and I just don't because I can't because I don't know how. So I end up choosing a really bad character. But anyway, that's besides the point. It's just like I don't know enough about that demographic to know like how Nintendo is appealing to them. But from where I'm standing right now, it just doesn't feel like they have that same appeal that they had on us when we were younger, back when Nintendo was a lot bigger. Or I wouldn't say bigger. It's just the fact like back when I don't know. It felt like Nintendo was on a higher pedestal back then.
I don't know.
And
I think it's because we're in a different we're a different age group and we're not who they're catering towards because we don't think, wow, cartoons are coming on, or like let's turn on like Cartoon Network. Like we're not like excited to see the cartoons like we were, and I kind of think that's what happened with Nintendo. Like I don't know. Like I guess I can ask kids, but I won't get like a real answer. I won't know exactly how they feel. Like, oh, like yeah, Nintendo's the greatest thing ever. But that's what I like feel, or I feel like that we don't know enough, so we can't be like, hey, cater to us, give us what we want, because we don't know. I'm gonna tell a quick side story, and I think we've pretty much covered everything at this point. I was in Oregon this past week with and we were in the car with her, me, her dad, and her, like, basically stepsister and her stepsister's boyfriend, and they're like 16-ish. So me and my girlfriend are playing on our DS's Smash, and the kid, her stepsister's boyfriend, is going on about how, like, he loves Smash, and he's like, can I play? So my girlfriend gives him the DS, and he's talking about how, like, he had said before that he could probably take me and her on by himself. So I'm like, alright kid, you're trash talking, it's time to show you who you're talking to. Played him 5 games, 3 stocks for each game. I lost 1 stock. He was so upset.
Get good, dude. You suck.
Like I kind of looked at him and I looked at him and like because I kind of wanted to let up, but I was also like, this kid was talking smack, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let you do that with Smash, the game I play a ton in. So I just destroyed him, and it was so funny because like he's coming up with all these sorts of Johns, like, oh, the lights in my eyes, or like I can't see my screen, like because the glare to an extent.
My controller's not working.
No, the best John ever is I'm not good at Smash. That's the best John.
My 3DS is off.
3DS is off. There's lag.
I haven't been practicing on the Wii U and me.
Wii U and me.
I'm gonna be disappointed if the NX console is not that name.
Well, it's not gonna. Okay, for one, it's not gonna be called the NX. It's gonna
I know. It's just the placeholder for them to refer to it as something. I know.
But like, honestly, what the NX needs to do is it needs to be a more serious console. It needs to be a console that you can actually compare to a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One, and it also needs to have a solid online infrastructure in place. It needs to have a lot of features that
dedicated servers
other consoles have. Like it needs to have like
a party system that exists outside of games.
Yeah, it needs to have that party system. It needs to have like a store that's not tied directly into your console itself. That is what I hate so much.
No more fucking gimmicks, guys. None of this shit.
Dude, people hate the gamepad. I fucking love the gamepad. I don't know what's wrong with
it. It's not bad, but no one that is really hardcore gamer
use a controller like that.
Wants to use a big bulky controller.
You just ditch the gamepad and instead have the screen attached to your wrist.
Dude, do it like a Pip-Boy, or like Gear Boy, whatever it is from Fallout.
Pip-Boy or like it'd be so sick. Because then you're like, oh, there's a map like on my screen. So like, imagine like playing like, say, for example, like, I don't know, like Call of Duty, like
And like you just hold it like this, like you're holding a gun.
It's not on the screen; it's on your wrist. So you just have to like constantly
Dude,
look or put it on the inside.
If they took another shot at motion control, you know, I wouldn't be upset. Like they really did it good with the Wii. Like I never felt like motion controls were garbage. Like Mario Kart's Wii, like I had a ton of fun with that. Like I feel like they really could mess it up, and they should also like put out a Pro controller with NX when it comes out. But I'd love if they took another stab at motion controls, because I think Nintendo can do it really well.
Like Nintendo could do it well, but my biggest problem with the Wii was just like it was so shitty for a whole lot of games.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of third parties couldn't really make much use of it without it being complete and utter garbage.
True.
So, like, I don't want them to go like motion controls again.
I'd like them to do motion controls
inside the controller is perfectly fine because that actually works really well, as we see with Splatoon. But it's just like, like Nintendo just needs all the features that other consoles need, and they just need that like more serious push to attract other people saying, and not that they need to be more forthcoming with third parties, because I've heard in the past that they've kind of like they haven't been the best people to deal with third parties.
Also, I'll jump in really quickly on that note. Binding of Isaac Rebirth, the fact that like their idea was like they're finally getting on the 3DS and Wii U, or at least 3DS. Their big thing was like, we're never going to get on there because they don't accept like things that deal with lots of like religious topics like that, the way that the Binding of Isaac does. But they had Japanese games that were doing that sort of thing, and they were like, no, we won't do games like that. But they were. It's kind of like they need to figure out what they're doing and how they want to appeal, because I think the only reason their consoles are still working is because people want to buy the new Mario Kart, the new 3D Mario, the new Smash, and then
they just have all this star power underneath them, which is what keeps Nintendo afloat at this point.
They're too like greedy on like, well, we can make whatever and people are going to buy the new Mario Party, Kart, Smash Bros, whatever. And if they would just take a second to be like, we can make billions of dollars if we do like literally anything else alongside it. But
it's just like Nintendo has that great first party and they have all that star power underneath them, but at the end of the day, like, how long is this star power going to last the company? Like, because not only that, like, we are also forgetting that big developers such as like Miyamoto, they're getting older, and who knows when they're going to retire.
Die.
And not die, but just retire. Like, eventually they're going to die, but like,
everyone's going to die.
These, like, these giants in video gaming history, because they've been with
Phil
us
Fish.
for quite.
Phil Fish is going to start running Nintendo. I'm ready.
Oh!
let's not start. Let's not start that.
I love how this became Nintendo Cast so fast.
I'm fine with it, like, because we didn't like. I kind of want to max out the podcast at like 2 hours, and like we're getting close, so like we can wrap it up. But it turns into a really good discussion, because it is.
Yeah.
When we think about it, NX is going to be like really Nintendo's make or break, because they excelled. So GameCube sales were pretty bad, so I hear. Wii sales were fantastic. Like, they've made Wii Sports like one of the best-selling games of all time because it sold with the Wii U.
No, it is the best-selling.
Oh, it is? It is number one?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically one of, if not the best selling of a console of all time. And then you went to the Wii U, which is utter trash. Like, they're losing money. They're finally picking up with these like first-party games like 2, 3, 4 years down the road, finally. And now they're going into another console so early. This is Nintendo's like really big shot. They need to not fuck this up. And really, in all honesty, they can probably make another Wii U and fuck up and restart this process 4 years down the road and do something again, because they have the money to do it. But I feel like you're going to lose like our demographic, which I think they should tap into, but I don't know if it's really worth it for them, which I know we all think it is, but like I said, we don't know their demographics, we don't know their sales with who's buying stuff. This is like their last shot, I think, because like I know like I might always buy the next Pokemon game and like Smash Brothers, or really after this one, like with Project M, like I might just go play Project M because it's updated and everything. I don't need another console. Like I don't think I'm gonna need the new Mario Kart. This Mario Party was garbage. Like this is the worst Mario Party I think they've made. I haven't played 9, but comparing to the other 8 on the newest console, it is the worst. I would play any other Mario Party. Like this is their last shot, and I think this is really the last shot I'm gonna give Nintendo. Like I'm gonna keep playing their games like Splatoon and stuff if it's good, but another console, I don't know if I want to fork over money for another one.
Yeah, like the biggest problem is that the Wii U is just being tossed aside, mainly because it's just a failure as a console. This is kind of like our modern day version of a Virtual Boy.
You're right.
What happened was the Virtual Boy, but the Virtual Boy was just complete and utter trash, though. But like that's kind of what's happening. And the fact is, they're releasing a brand new console. They're going to be releasing a brand new console like so soon. Means that like you need to amaze people to have them fork over money once again after such a short period of time. Like that's the key thing. Like this is do or die for a lot of people. Like you said, it's just like this is their last shot. They need to get people back into Nintendo. They need to get people. They need to amaze us for what the NX has to offer. Yep. Because if they don't amaze us, people like, despite the fact that like, yeah, new Smash Bros is coming out. Yeah, Bayonetta 3. Although Bayonetta 3 would be awesome, but anyway, like yeah, like another Legend of Zelda, another Xenoblade, and just another Metroid. Like the next actual Metroid that's coming out.
You mean the one they just announced at E3?
No, I'm talking about the next actual Metroid. Even though Federation Force looks amazing, okay, not amazing, but it looks fun.
Looks good. It looks good to a degree.
It looks fantastic.
It looks fun, but it's not the Metroid game we all wanted. We can all agree on that. People are overreacting.
I haven't played Metroid, so I can't agree on that. Sorry.
Anyway, I don't. Anyway, back to my point. Like NX needs to impress people. It needs to amaze people. It needs to get people into it. Like they need to give people a reason other than Smash Bros to buy this console, because you're gonna have less people buying this console just for one game the next time around. Because hey, guess what? You just took their money for say Splatoon, say Smash Bros, and you basically made them pay like over $360 just for, and not including tax, nonetheless, just for one game. And it's just basically like,
don't get upset with your TV.
This is your fault. God,
it's all your fault. No, I'm looking at my Wii U actually.
Yeah, I got that, but it was a better joke to make. So thanks for explaining it all now. It's funny.
You can't like expect people to keep on jumping on Nintendo's.
Everybody hates you. God.
It's like everyone's disappointed in your Wii U.
If you didn't have a capture card in, you had break you. I would not do that. It's a waste of money.
No, but
I'm not rich.
Actually, the capture card's like connected to the via HDMI.
Oh, so I'm talking about my 3DS capture card.
Oh. Like okay,
nice
3DS
try.
is a solid console, but
3DS is the console they believe in.
NX is a home console. It needs to impress people to the point where it's either something that they're willing to skip a Wii U over for. Because honestly, if NX has backwards compatibility with Wii U,
you don't buy Wii U's anymore.
That'd be great. And the fact that like, hey, like people who may have missed out on Wii U,
can still get the games from that.
Can still get the games from.
They don't have to wait 6 more years for a Smash.
Yeah, they're gonna have to transfer anything with Nintendo Network ID onto the NX. They can't just
that's a good point.
Make something new, because
guys. What if
they can improve the infrastructure and have your Nintendo Network ID tie into the next portable devices, the next line of home console, and just expand upon that service? Like, make it an actual service similar to PlayStation Network, Xbox Live. Make it similar to the way that works. Makes your Nintendo Network ID an actual account that say like, hey, I can transfer my games over from one console in case this breaks to another console and have it playable so long as my account is being ran at the time.
So what if, and this is a big what if, but we should consider it because knowing Nintendo, it's a possibility. So we've had the DS, the DS Lite, DSi, and the 3DS, and now the new 3DS. What if NX is the brand new?
No, it's the 4DS at that point.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I forgot. It's like, so you play Splatoon on it, and when your Inkling splatters, it shoots ink at you. Like the Game Boy slot that used to be on the bottom, it's just the hole, like for the headphone slot, it just shoots out ink. And like whatever game you're playing, like if you're playing the new Super Mario Sunshine HD, it shoots water out at you.
Which is totally confirmed at this point, totally, yes. 25.
Yes, we're leaked sources. We made it up, but we're leaked. There you go. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap that up because we're like 5 minutes from hitting 2 hours.
I could talk about this all day.
I know that like we've been doing it for like 15 minutes,
could.
and I know that like
we're gonna go to talk about this so much more, but it's just like we're out of time.
Yeah, and it's like if we talk about it, we're gonna be at the same point where we are now. It's Nintendo needs to take their chance here and go big or go home and bring us back in. But
like this whole SplatCast is like a message directly to Nintendo.
Directly to you.
Directly to you.
Please understand. Anyway.
Please understand, Nintendo. You really need to impress us for the NX.
We need to all have like
start getting
profile
racist in
pictures
here,
of us with bananas just staring at them, and just with captions that say Nintendo, make the new
no
Nintendo
expand
system
on
shaped like go expand down. Yes.
No.
Anyway,
No.
that's gonna be it for today, guys. Remember, the Splatcast happens every week Saturdays at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The other people in the stream usually like rotate in and out. I'm probably gonna have more planning, so we might switch up the cast a little bit. I'll usually be the host of it. We'll see what happens when there's Saturdays that I'm out if people want to host it. But I'm gonna try to keep getting in new people. DAK's been on here. I think you've been on everyone.
Everyone.
And I'm glad you came on, Pika. It was really fun. Good to get a new person on who actually knows what they're talking about. And you asked like really good, like really, we don't have people who ask good questions. Like I noticed that, like you ask questions at good pivotal points. But anyway, thanks for coming on, guys. It's been fun. Thanks everyone for coming to watch. I'll make sure once I end the stream that we have everyone's YouTube. Shucks isn't part of our content creator program here on Splat TV, but all three of us are streamers. We have our own time. After Monday, we're going to have the stream schedule fixed, so everyone will know what stuff's going on. You can find the like schedule down below, but don't check it right now because it's like not correct at all.
It's kind of awkward right now because like everyone's been busy
or sick
whatnot lately, and it's just like we need to like sit down and figure out, hey guys, like when is everyone available once again, because it changed a lot recently. Last week was kind of crazy week for a lot of people. I wasn't streaming last Saturday because I had a party to go to. It was a special event.
Anyway,
but yeah,
we'll finish it off here. Thanks everyone for coming to watch. Remember, if you haven't, click the follow button. We're gonna have content going like a lot of the time. Like really like more than half the hours in a week if we get the schedule set up to basically how it was, but just with different hours. Thanks everyone for watching, and